testing the audio. Let's see how that sounds, and back to the intro. Yeah. So I think that if I do that, I don't know if I need to be. Well, you know what? I can be in the shot. You see what it looks like? So now we're broadcasting. Like now, like what we're saying can be heard when we're broadcasting. And then if I switch back. All right. We're live streaming. I know it looks real professional, especially me holding the microphone, the lavalier in my hand. But I will work on the audio and let's get started on the first official stream. I named it This and That with Jazzy Jazz, and I know. Nobody knows. We're basically just trying out. Well, we're gonna do two things. First of all, just try out the technology, see if we can get sound out, image out, see if we can make things not look terrible. And secondly, we're gonna go over your project. Yeah. So what I should do is Should I make you a host so you can share? Because right now, um, we're just seeing your. Ah, okay, okay. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you would do the screen share instead, right? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. I see. I see. It's like 10-second delay, 10-ish. Yeah, it's a little bit blurry. That's better. Oh, cool. Is that a plugin to Zoom, or how does that work? Oh, I see. I see. All right. So that's the same as I'm doing with OBS. Like I'm using the OBS camera, and that's how I get the. Yeah. All right. So what? Awesome. Yeah, we gotta start with a hello world. That's a given. Yes. So what do you have to share with us today? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
2020 is just that feel. So,
So just sorry, just to let you know, I just realized that nobody could hear what you were saying until right now. I think I just figured out to
oh really?
actually
Let me see.
give you audio.
Oh, I just unmuted to hear. I could hear myself in there, but I think
Hold,
you just turned it on.
hold on. Yes, I did. All right. So that's how much faith you should put in us too, doing and
Hey,
talking about technology. So we just figured out volume. So
step one.
step one. All right. So let's we'll back up a little bit. So you'll get to repeat the last 90 seconds or so of what you said.
Totally. Yeah. Um, you know what? I feel like being a perfectionist here.
All right.
Gonna start the hello world again. Step two was volume.
Yes.
Yes, very important.
Excellent. All right. So hello world. We have volume. All right. I'm not gonna cut that out, by the way. I'm gonna leave this up, and then 15 years from now, we'll come back and we'll laugh at starting off talking for about 5 minutes with no volume, but I think we're
Totally.
I
Yeah.
think we're
Yeah.
better now. All right.
Yeah. So coaches and meditation teachers, and their online presence.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the deal. And what I found is there are some platforms just not up to snuff. And what I'm talking about is when I started podcasting, what I realized was there are certain platforms that do it all. It's just God, it's just really really old school and don't work super well, and you have way too many choices and options. And what I really like is when I found transistor.fm. And so this is something I use, and I can have unlimited number of shows.
Mhm.
And basically it's just my little test where I've got, it's very simple.
Mhm.
Once I've set it up, I upload a new episode, and that's it. It pushes it out to all these places. Let me show you. Podcast.clearonlife.com. It creates this website for me.
Mhm.
I don't have too many choices. I can fidget with the colors, but I don't care. The fact that it's up is much better than the
Sure.
perfect website.
It's up. It looks good.
It looks
Yeah.
good. It looks professional.
Yes.
Somebody put some work into it.
So do you pay for this?
I pay like $10 a month.
Okay, so it's a subscription. Okay.
It's a subscription, and I have like a few basic pages, and people can go and you can play any episode from right here. But the best part is that you can, I can go in. It pushes it out to all of these channels.
All right.
Blasts out for me. I don't have to do anything. So I can go to Stitcher, and it's there.
Great.
Right, it's everywhere, and that's the best part. So if I just go to social, I just plug in where else do I want to push it, and it just pushes it out for me.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I just love this piece. And what I'm thinking is, well, I'm sort of tech savvy, and this site is kind of tech savvy. Like, requires a little bit, right? Because if you go to website, for example, you got to know how to do your custom domains.
Right? Got it.
So
you want to provide something for people who want to push out. You mentioned coaches, people who want to do lecture. They want to be able to broadcast and publish and make it, get something up and running. Yeah, just want to show up. You just want to put out your content, and sites gets built, and content gets published, and
all done.
Domains gets created and set up, and you shouldn't have to figure out in Google, how do I do this, how do I set up that, but just focus on producing the content and then get your content out there quickly.
Exactly. And just to clarify, there could be online presence can mean a few things. I'm thinking in terms of just booking, booking, scheduling, accounting, right? Basic accounting. It's basically like if they could just do minimal setups so that whenever they do a whatever session, money just shows up in their PayPal or whatever. That's
sure.
It. Simple. Or their bank account.
I love that. Money just shows up.
Money,
yeah, that's how I do it.
Just show up.
Yeah.
No hustling, please.
Yes.
Let this website do the hustling for you. And then and just some little bit of like online presence, right? So that would be website, whether it's maybe it's just a landing page, a page, etc. It just hooks into your things if you want.
Sure.
Creates the things for you if you want.
Yeah.
And just talking to some of the people who want something like this, I've noticed, and this is something got a test, but if I had to just go on a hunch, I would say that the less choices they have to make to get from here to money just shows up. I just want to show up, and then and money just shows up, right? That piece, they want as few number of decisions in between.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if they have to choose between 6 different geez, like
Yeah, it
here's
becomes decision fatigue, right? It's just you spend so much time and energy on making like, the decision.
yeah, this is a great example. Like it's this is Mobilize, which is a great tool for building offline sites
Mm-hmm.
without knowing Angular, and then just push it to Netlify or something like that.
Sure.
And what's interesting is that if you go to their templates, and there's a ton of them, um, they might have like if you really like once you sign in, what you'll see is that each template has like 6 variants:
Mm.
AMP, no AMP,
Sure.
Twitter optimize. I'm like, why do I need to decide that?
Yeah.
So that's kind of I'm thinking is like a simple pathway, even if it's just one.
Got it.
And I'm like, okay, that can't be that hard, right? Like, how could one make a platform like this?
So yeah, so I mean, there's certainly a number of existing um, solutions already. So are there any of those that have APIs? I mean, you could build on top of what already exists, and if they have APIs that they expose, then you could programmatically make some of the decisions behind the scenes and just present, hey, you get, these three choices. You have the name for your podcast, your whatever product it is that you're selling, and then you plug in your social media handles, and
Right.
you check off these. Let's say you want to do a podcast, you'll check off these are the places where I want to push this out to, and that's basically it, right?
Right.
It takes 2 minutes, but then when they say let's go, or they click on the button, then what you would do is you would then find as many existing products there are that have APIs. I think that would be the key, right? To find APIs, and then you have to figure out a way of, because none of the products you would use there are free, right? So you would figure out a way to add on your cost on top of that, and
Right.
and still make it um, make it into something that people want to buy into, pay a bit more, but they don't
Right.
have to do anything themselves.
Right. Right. Yeah. So totally, like it comes down to, and as far as implementation, it'll be mostly like pre-existing stuff, which is, I was thinking, like for example, like for choices customers make would be
Mm-hmm.
their availability,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's some calendaring thing going on behind the
Yes.
scenes.
So
I know Acuity scheduling does some of that stuff, and
Mhm.
there's you use Calendly or Google
Yeah.
Calendar API.
So you need a calendar API. Yes.
Yeah, so that's Calendar API.
Mm-hmm.
There's the video conferencing thing,
Mm-hmm.
so that's easy. There's Zoom, there's Amazon Web Services.
Sure.
They all
Yeah.
have like their own custom
Yeah.
video conferencing. One of those. Zoom, like people like Zoom just because everyone has it, but
Yeah.
who knows? Website landing page.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if I'm a coach, I should be able to tell you, hey, go to this page.
Mm-hmm.
You can find about me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the schedule. Just book. You can pay, and then you're set. And
Yeah.
we'll just show up. That's it.
So it's basically what I sell, about me, book, those three things. That's it.
Very much like Transistor's website section.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? You have the site intro. You have what's in the about page, basic choices. Do you want to sign up for newsletter? Any extra custom CSS?
Mm-hmm.
That's not needed, but that's it. And then most of the content, there's no extra content that I put in except site intro, and I was lazy with these two as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of, there's this. It kind of looks great. Like,
Yeah, it looks awesome. Absolutely.
yeah. So so that's
Maybe an option about like art, like a logo. Like if you don't bring your own logo, have some options of 10 options, pick a logo, just add some artwork to it.
Create, bring your logo or pick from 10
Mm-hmm.
pre-designed choices,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? Yeah.
This is another thing too that you can, like, later on you can have artists, um, where they can sell, license their artwork. Like if you want to, some people might want to add more art than just like the logo, but they want, I don't know, images and other things onto the site. So that, uh, you can have artists say, hey, if you publish your content here, then people can choose to add that to their site, and if they do, then they license it from you.
Mm.
Kind of that side, where I get the music from, Epidemic Sounds, I think it's called,
Right.
where they have like 30,000 plus songs from different artists,
Mm-hmm.
and you pay a subscription fee, and then they clear with YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and then the artist gets a cut of that.
Mm.
I don't know exactly if it's based on streams, or if they get a cut based on when somebody uses their song, or however that works, right? But it can be a neat way of including others, later on down the road at some point.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think that once we get like the first pass with the simple pathway going, um, and if there's like any interest,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like totally, like how could you make some of these bloom as like a little ecosystem of sorts almost,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So just going back to this, so bring your own logo. You have like some basic things like
Mm-hmm.
name, title, some like stock content, like about page, etc., about section, and in the very beginning it's like very little. Like I want someone who has never touched, done more than like do the iPad, be able to get this going.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that would be it, right? Like I would say, like,
Yeah. So
uh,
need to find an API for like generating content. I mean, it's you could build up your own template, right? So that's not that
mm,
terribly difficult, and then just push it out to. I mean, there's a lot of super cheap. Um, it's pretty static, the content, right? I mean, the only thing that really needs to be dynamic is just when they publish new content,
yeah, here's
right?
a
So it shows up.
exactly.
So I mean, you
Yeah.
can Amazon, Azure, they all have dirt cheap ways of hosting primarily static content, and then you just produce a template, and you can do Angular, React. I mean, it's dynamic content per se. I mean, it's just JavaScript files, right? So you can create pretty um, you know interesting sites, but still just treat it as static content.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. I think someone who could generate static sites, or something that can generate static
Mm-hmm.
sites with like just this dynamic component that does the calendaring,
Mm-hmm.
that would be kind of um, the thing. In fact, I was looking at just an example. Here's some coach, right? This guy just shows up,
Mm-hmm.
and you just go in, and you just pick one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a recurring event, and sometimes it's one-on-one when you want to book something. This is more of a recurring thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just go in and set your time zone and pick something. This is acuity scheduling. I would say it's okay. I mean, it's like the behind the scenes for whoever had to set this up is not the prettiest or the easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as an end user, if I was the client of my client, then yeah, okay. Even this was like a little off-putting at first, like the way it was done. So
Got it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So finding good APIs that has enough functionality, coming up with a like, what's the pricing model? I'm assuming it's like a subscription type of deal, monthly.
Yeah. So pricing model, mainly like the idea would be to bootstrap this business.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there was interest. So in this space, there's a lot of interest in funding stuff like this right now,
Got it.
apparently. So I don't know what the pricing model should be, but let's just say it was like a monthly annual subscription of some sort,
Yep.
right? And the goal is to just get the word out there and see how many people use it, and have like some tech support
Mm-hmm.
to help people out. But yeah, it's super simple. Like, it doesn't hurt people to have this. Like, it's almost like it, you might have like 20 things already in the works, and you might be using QED and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, but this is so simple.
Yeah.
Why not just set it up? So it might just get you some more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I thought about is um, some type of search engine optimization. Like, so when they publish their content, you want to optimize so that it's found, right?
Right.
Because otherwise, it just gets dumped into a black hole. And I mean, there's a lot of neat stuff that you can do with that. It could be either that they can plug in like their Google Analytics ID if they know how to do that, and they can get the analytics themselves, and then they could perhaps have a way of improving how they show up in search results. Or it could be an additional service, right, that you're selling, where you say, hey, here's the base, do different tiers. Here's the base package, which lets you publish your content, 1, 2, 3, boom, 5 minutes later you're up and running, and then just let us know anytime you have anything that's new. And then the next tier could be that if you want to optimize for search, then we can handle that for you, and we'll have some automated processes in the background that grabs analytics data and analyzes that, and then tries to optimize, and that will be
Right.
another
Yeah.
charge, however much that's going to be every month.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's one of the things about like the stuff that we're doing now, right? Everybody and their uncle has a blog, a podcast, a stream, whatever. So even if you have really good content, it's just going to be swallowed up into nothingness unless you're pushing it to the forefront somehow.
Right.
Which is another tricky part.
Yeah. Agreed. It doesn't hurt to. Simplicity of the whole thing is the number one thing, but then once you bet on this horse, if it can take you further than other competition or whatever choices you might make, even better for sure. Yeah.
And also, another thing could be, you have the base tier, you have the search optimization package, then you might have the promotional package. So if you want to spend, similar to what you can do on Twitter, right? If you have a tweet, you can say, hey, I want to spend $50, and they promote it on Twitter for an hour or 2 hours. So you could do the same thing if you have a podcast and you publish it. We could say, hey, for $50, we'll promote it, and obviously that assumes that we have a way of extending the reach.
Right.
It can't just mean I'm going to promote it to my 2 friends. So we'll have to figure out how that's going to work. But that could be another thing that could be added into the mix.
Like, ideally, I would like one place where not only did it create me a site and do some of these things that we've been talking about: accounting, booking, scheduling, online presence, social media, but also allows you to, I know you mentioned a couple times, like, also hooks into content creation ecosystems. So if Transistor didn't exist, I would be like, okay, there should be a section where you could just upload your audio and it'll push out your podcast for you.
Yeah.
But that's maybe down the road. Maybe there's like a blog section.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe there's a blog section where you're just writing blogs, or it really depends. Like, mainly it's just, here's a page, because right now there's no specific way people do it. Some people advertise on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. Some people just have a website that they spend half a year creating.
Sure.
Yeah. So as far as specs go, and the reason I had mentioned specs is because you remember, like, we used to do this designer versus developer thing. We did
Yes.
that.
Yes.
that was like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should mention for the 4 people that's going to watch this that, Jazz and I, we've known each other for some 20 almost years now. So we've done a handful of things in the past. One of them was the developer versus designer. I don't even remember what was that again? I don't even remember what that was.
It was oh my God. Yeah, it was like it was a series where, given a problem, how would a designer look at it versus developer?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember now. Yes.
Think like a series. Think like
that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
Might have been for Microsoft. I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Many.
Yes.
Oh man. So, I am thinking. I don't think I'll personally be developing this, but I have this vision of just getting something out there to test out, and I'm like, okay, what might be the simplest way to get something out there, just to see if there's any traction at all.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm like the simplest pathway specced out and then given to some developers, or hiring, or what would be your thoughts on something like this?
Well, I know that. So you asked me the other couple of days ago when you first came to me with this idea, and I said I don't know if I have time. But now that I look at it, it sounds exciting. So maybe maybe I'll spend. I mean, the two of us, we can spend the next couple of weeks, and we'll try and figure out kind of a workflow. Like what would this look like? Like if I am the creator and I come in, what does it look like from I go to whatever the site is called, whatever this thing is called, and I assume you create an account, and then you just screen by screen. So here, after you create an account, here is the first set of options and again, it's going to be as simple as possible. So name your product, what type of product is it? We'll have some. Is it a blog? Is it a podcast? Is it a whatever? We have the options. Let's say it's a podcast. We have the options of this is where I want to publish it. About me. Logo. Done. Right.
Right.
And just kind of spec it out a little bit more with some more details. And then once we have a good flow, then look into, okay, so what APIs exist that we can hook into this? Okay, so here's step 1. What do we need, right? So we need to store user information, right? Like what's the best way of doing that? Like how do we, the onboarding process, right? Signing up, right? So how do we sign up the user? Where do we store that stuff? The credit card information, et cetera, et cetera. And then next step, all right, so how do we present them with options? And I want to be able to schedule things. Okay, so we need a scheduling API. We figure out which one to use. And I need a website. We'll figure out, okay, how can we generate websites? Where do we publish that? How do we deal with URLs and domains and whatnot? Without actually writing anything, but just speccing it out. And then if we get a good flow, then we can add even more specifics, right? And
totally, yeah.
then we can figure out if there's something that we want to do ourselves, or if we get someone to do it, or
Right, right.
however that's gonna work.
Well, first off, I just have to say I feel very excited that you might be interested in this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that we're talking it through, right?
Yeah.
So and we're, this stream will be. I'm looking now at the stats. We have one concurrent view, which I think is me on another
myself
device
too.
watching it. Yeah. So
No, that's me.
oh, it's you. Okay. So, but I mean, it's there. So maybe
For
somebody
the
else.
witnesses.
Yeah. Well, maybe somebody else will find it, and they build it before we do it, right? So, but.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
dude, you know, it's what's interesting is that what my interest is in, because yes, this could be created, but I also like, given our history in the world of like education and teaching, you know, my curiosity is, could we do this while we live stream the whole building of the company?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we, why don't we try to make it a semi or like a weekly thing?
Totally.
We'll try to get together once a week for, like, it doesn't have to be very lengthy. I mean, we'll be doing it for like 30 minutes here. So between 30 to 60 minutes.
Right.
And we can talk after this. We can talk a bit more about specifics and what to do. But why don't we, looking at my calendar right now.
Totally.
Like, what if we did it next, what is it today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday. And we started 6.
Yeah. So how do you feel about next Wednesday?
Wednesday at 6?
Yeah, 30th.
Wednesday. Jazz. Ola. Yeah. 6 p.m. You said?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. I am sending you an invite right now.
All right.
So
I'm accepting it right now.
it's all live, folks.
Mm-hmm.
There's no talk about transparency.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Event has been sent out.
Yeah. And I don't think I can take more than about 45. I'm sitting, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sitting at my kids' play table. So I'm sitting in like kids' chairs that I've made for like 3-year-olds. And
right.
It is...
yeah, we got to upgrade your...
not super comfortable.
Broadcasting
I'm gonna work on the sound. I want to try to make it with this. And I think I can. I just need to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, if you do go that route, you know, the 3 links I sent you, oh my God, man. You will need like a stand of some sort for the mic. It's a pain, but it's not like you're moving it.
Yeah. All right. I will work on this until next week.
So dude, this is awesome. Like I think like, I mean, I just want to check with you, and for me it was kind of like, how do I spec it? But instead I got the fisherman instead of the fish here. Yes. You're interested. Yes. That's awesome. I'll take that.
All right. Well, we'll work on it, and we'll meet up at 6 p.m. Wednesday, September 30th.
Here's one thing I just want to say.
Yes.
Before we cut off is, so I can do unlimited shows here on Transistor, and it's probably very little work to take what we recorded. I know you're putting the YouTube. Yeah. We could do a podcast version.
Yeah.
Just add a show, call it something, come up with a name, and just put it out there.
Let's do
building of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just rip the audio from here. You mean?
I can do that because I know where the live address is, so I can get the MP3, put it up there.
We'll do it.
Name-wise, I don't know, but so far, just FYI, I've been using socialnexus.org as the idea, and my workflow as me as not a coach, but I'm gonna do daily meditations, was just using like some forms engine, like I think it was called Paperform. It's like Google Forms, but much more sophisticated. And you as a user just pick which ones you want to sign up for, like on a recurring basis. Click here to submit, and that's it. You get Google Calendar invites.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me about this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that was called Social Nexus. So for now, I was like, the name was Social
Mm-hmm.
Nexus in my head, but I'm happy to come up with anything if you
But
think of
I
something.
like it. It's good.
You like it?
Yeah.
We can even call the show Social Nexus.
There you go. We
Yeah,
have a name. Social Nexus.
Social Nexus. All
It
right,
is
come.
done.
So this is the first episode of
This
Social Nexus.
this is episode 1, my friend.
Wow, amazing.
Yes,
No extra work.
I know. All right. Well, I am going to fade out, and you'll stay on the line, and we'll talk
All right.
in a minute.
This was real, folks.
Yes. See you next time.
See you next time. That's awesome. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see if it's. I'm just waiting for. Oh, yeah. That disappeared. And it's just black. Do you have to stop the live stream or? Oh. Oops.